Welcome to the Sober Stretch podcast, the podcast for anyone that has a problematic relationship with alcohol. Perhaps you think you're an alcoholic, perhaps you're done and you're sick of it all and you don't know how to stop. We are the men for you. My name's Gary. My friend here, Craig, will tell us what we're going to talk about today. Two former alcoholics. You all right, mate?
Yes, I'm all good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, sound. Sweaty.
It's so hot, isn't it?
Warm,
Fucking
yeah.
hot.
Good.
So hot. Can't moan, but we always do. It rains, moan. If it's hot, moan. No,
Yeah,
it's
man.
good. Nice weather. So today we're just going to talk about. I say just going to talk about. I'm not going to play it down, but it's a big thing. Is shame. You said you've had a lot of messages on your blown up Instagram account about how people asking how you dealt with the shame of drinking. So I'm guessing how you feel the night out after you've completely humiliated yourself in front of your friends and family, the come down, that kind of thing. Everyone gets it, don't they? Unless you're a robot.
I think they must be. It must be across the board, surely.
Some maybe more than others.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing you suffered from it badly. I mean, we've talked about our Monday mornings and not going to work and all those days. My my peak shame moments were generally at the start of the working week, I think, and that overpowering sense of guilt, regret, shame. Yeah, it was heavy.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the reasons why I would just carry on drinking, because say like I have a mad Friday night, I would obviously do something stupid. Everyone does, surely. If you've had 10, 15 pints and whatever else, I feel like that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I would just carry on drinking. Because as soon as you start thinking, what did I get up to last night? And you're like, oh no, blah, blah, blah. I need a drink.
Yeah,
Take the head off and
yeah.
you go again.
Go again. Yeah, same. I didn't want to face the shame or the guilt or the demons from the night before, so I just get on it again. I mean, that was typical at the weekends. Thursday night, smashed, feel bad. Friday morning, shame was horrible because you couldn't counter it with any alcohol because you had to be in the office.
Yeah. You've got to get to midday, don't you, before you can have one in your lunch break.
Yeah, and then the weekend shame was just awful. For Saturday morning, I didn't have much time to think about it on a Saturday morning because normally we've spoken about this. Saturday was a day where it was almost like you had a pass to feel good about yourself and not feel, because you didn't have to possibly go to work the next day. You were just in that kind of safe space of hungover, rattled, brain mashed, and But no, I really, really. You say it was one of the reasons that kept you drinking. It was also, and stopping.
Yeah. I was literally just thinking that is probably because there is so many different types of shame that you can have. Like,
Yeah,
I was just thinking you could go to work, on a Monday potentially, maybe if you make it to work, and you could have colleagues, your bosses saying, "Good weekend. What'd you get up to?" And you hear about other people say, "Yeah, I went to the coast with my kids, went to Fort Park, went for a meal with my family." And like, what about you, Craig? Not much, mate. What did I do? Just got out my nut in the same clothes from Friday until Sunday. So that's shame when you hear about people actually making the most of their time, and you're just completely throwing it up the wall. Skin. That's horrible feeling. Horrible. And you've got to go through the cycle again, so you've got to bust your gut, try and make it to the weekend again, just to do nothing again. I just think that's so shameful and such a waste of life.
It is, isn't it? It's appalling.
And then you've got the shameful family as well, who just don't even want to be associated with you anymore.
Yeah, you're like, oh, fuck off, you know. But mum, the guilt, the shame. Yeah. Well, I'm kind of sick of you now. Piss off. And that, but as you end up getting, I think one of the reasons I quit was because I was just so sick of the cycle, the endless cycle of shame and guilt. I felt so guilty about how I'd approached my adult life. It's weird because you never give yourself a pass and go, oh, I'm an alcoholic. It's just the way I am. So it's out of my control. So I shouldn't feel too guilty. It's just the disease that's destroying me. But that's just well, that ain't going to help you go forward in any way or
Yeah,
shape or form, is it?
yeah, innit, like that. I felt like that as well. Like, it's not my fault I'm like this. Not my fault. No, but it is your fault for keep drinking,
Yeah, yeah.
Wally. Do you know what I mean? You have the option whether you have that first drink or not, and then you feel ashamed about it. But it's also all going to be to do with like the toxins and the chemicals fucking up your brain. Like, if you didn't feel any shame after, I don't know, say for example, I mean, if you had kids, that would be even worse. Like the shame of not doing anything with your kids all weekend because you've decided to just get drunk and then be hungover on the sofa and watch Netflix all day. I can imagine that being, I would feel horrendous.
Yeah, and do you think, but when you get into that shame stage, do you think you're reaching a point where perhaps you could quit?
Yeah,
It's,
I think
it's
it's,
when the shame starts to really grip you, and
yeah,
because I think if you drink once a week sensibly, and you feel a little, and you're the type of person that suffers with hangovers, you might just feel physically rough the next day. The shame's
yeah,
not gripping you, but
no,
come a point where you can't contend with that shame and regret
yeah,
every minute of your day or 3 times a week.
yeah. No, I think when you start feeling the shame, I feel like that might be progress
Mm.
because because you're obviously recognizing what you're doing is not right. So then it comes, the next point is to act on it and do something about it. If you didn't have shame, you might never quit. You might not think you need to. You might not think you have a problem.
Yeah, that's like a whole nother level of crazy denial, isn't it? I think, but
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think there are a lot of people that probably go through years not feeling overly shameful about it. And is that because they don't drink as much as we did, or is that because they're heartless fucks? I don't know. Because
I feel like,
I always thought I was a good lad. Like deep down in my heart, I was like, "You're a good lad, man. Why do you keep doing these stupid things, and why do you keep abusing your body? You're a good
yeah,
lad." And then I got sober, and I realised I was a good lad. I mean, we all make mistakes. We can all be knobheads, but like,
yeah,
and inherently think I'm a decent bloke, and I just couldn't contend or handle feeling so guilty all the time. So
yeah.
I just drank
Oh,
more.
it's so awful. It's so awful. I remember thinking that I was letting my family down. And and do you know the biggest one for me was because I feel like you're not going to get as much shame when you're younger. So when you're from like 18 to 25, I feel like it's a given that you just go out and get smashed every weekend.
Yeah,
Or I might be wrong, but I feel like that's just what everyone does. So because everyone's doing it and you're young, you sort of give yourself a break. You're like, oh, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to have a family and stuff like that, and I won't do it then. But then when your mates start growing up and you're being left behind, they've got good careers,
yeah.
mortgage, kids on the way, had kids, and I felt really ashamed of that because I was still Peter Pan, not growing up at all.
Yeah, because it's quite a wide ranging term, isn't it? Shame or guilt. Like there's the shame from that is you're ashamed of yourself, aren't you?
Yeah,
And then there's the guilt of maybe or the regret of doing something very specific on a night out. And when you layer them on top of each other, ah, it's a hell. It's a hell, isn't it?
yeah, it's horrendous.
And like as discussed on various episodes, with your still sober anxiety, do you feel like I'm going somewhere with this, but do you feel like shame and guilt in your life at the moment?
Um, there will be times where I could feel guilty if I feel like I've done something wrong, but generally no,
What a surprise!
because we like you've I feel like you've said it in one of your reels recently. becoming sober doesn't just make you an absolute angel. It doesn't mean that your life is, I mean, overall, yeah, it is better, but you're still human. So you still have to work on being a better person. But generally, shame and guilt is, it's not even nearly on the same level as when you're getting fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible thinking about it, to be honest with you. Like
Yeah.
that feeling on a Sunday, grim.
Do you know what? It's for me, it's the single most beneficial thing from sobriety is just not feeling like that anymore.
Yeah.
Because that really was, apart from the actual drinking and all the damage it was causing, like physically and on all levels, the consequence was that I just felt like that, like we've been talking about, pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to feel that guilt, or that, we'll probably get into how you can avoid feeling like that as we go through the episode. But if you don't want to feel like that, just have to stop drinking.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, well, if I just drink X number of beers, the shame will be less because the toxins and the chemicals will be less and the poison will be less. So I'll just mitigate it a little bit. It's like, get real. If you're feeling like that a lot, you need to like.
Nah, no half measures. And people can try that, and yeah, it might work well for a week, but you're soon going to slip back to your old habits. It's all or nothing. That's why you're in that position in the first place, because you're an all or nothing person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe in, it depends what level you are, I suppose. If you're an actual alcoholic, you can't moderate. So just like you said, teetering it down a little bit, it ain't gonna be substantial at all. It's not gonna work.
It is work, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's work to eradicate that. And I think a lot of people have to realize when you get sober, the shame lingers for,
Days.
well,
Months.
months. Like, you're 2 years sober, what, a month ago maybe?
Yeah.
That's probably come around quick. But do you still feel alcohol related shame at
No.
all?
No.
No.
No. I don't. Nah. I don't. I feel proud.
Yeah, okay.
I feel the opposite of shame, because proved everyone wrong.
Yeah, man.
So I don't feel any shame now. I know you said it took you 3 years to start feeling normal.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. And for anyone new listening, I've said in the past that I didn't feel like a normal human being for about 3 years, and I think a lot of that was the shame, and in the kind of the process of getting sober and the inner work that I did, I had to explore that, and be brave enough to look at why I felt like that.
Yeah.
And what kind of things I did that made me feel like that, and who was affected by it. Because it's all well and good going, oh, the shame inside my tummy. It's like, hold on about a minute. What about the other people that have had to suffer because you've been a cunt?
Straight up, yeah.
So I really struggled with that for a while, a good while. I remember there'd be times where I just walk along and I just burst into tears because it's an emotional period, isn't it? The first year of getting sober, especially.
Yeah, man.
I just walk down the street and recall something or some kind of behavior, and it was emotional all the time anyway. Generally better, positive emotions, but sometimes I'd be like, oh my God, I used to behave like that. So people say, oh, how long to get rid of this shame? Well, it depends how shameful your behavior has been, or
And how
how.
much you've done of it, yeah. I suppose that's all part of the healing process.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you just burst into tears, although you were sad and probably look like a complete weirdo, it's a good thing, because you're dealing with things.
Yeah.
You're now going through that emotion. You're not avoiding it.
No.
I feel like you've got to go through it to get over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the first year or the first period of getting sober is confronting stuff, isn't it?
100%.
Having the balls to confront a craving, having the balls to confront a trigger, having the balls to say no to a social event, having the balls to start running just because it makes your mind better. Everything involves bollocks at the start, doesn't it? You have to be brave.
Yeah, even for the females. And like you said, yeah, be brave. It's probably the most scary thing, and it's probably one of the things that keeps people drinking for so long as well, because they tend to be hiding something. And when you stop drinking, you've used that as your coping mechanism. There's no hiding. Do you know what I mean? You're fully putting your shield down and being like, "Come on, let's fucking have it then." What have
Yeah.
you got for me? But it's all part of growing. You've got to go through it. 100%. I just think you can't let what you're gonna do. Keep feeling sorry for yourself, licking your wounds, and feeling shame, and then be like, "Oh, I'll have another drink." Like, it's a definition of insanity, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing over and over and over again, and expecting a different result. You're just gonna keep feeling like that until the day that you die,
Yeah, of course.
unless you change.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and also, as you get sober, you start to become a better citizen and do better things with your life, and
Oh
then
yeah,
the opportunity to feel shame is just massively diminished, isn't it?
mate. I don't know about you, but I feel like I don't know if this is a normal thing, whether it's just me or whether it's the fact that I've stopped drinking now, but I have so much empathy for just general people, even
Mm,
people that I don't know, I've never met before. I
yeah,
want to have conversations with more people, whereas maybe that's because I didn't do that for 10 years because I was a fuckhead.
yeah, and maybe like not you particularly, but like maybe you were just a selfish prick as well. You know, you were too busy feeling sorry for yourself or
Yeah, 100%.
thinking, oh, my life's so bad and blah blah blah.
Oh, it's
So
bad
you,
fast.
how can you dedicate time to others if you spend all your time just wallowing in self pity?
You can't. You can't. I just remember having no respect for myself as well. I suppose
Mm,
that's a similar thing. Literally disregarding all my health, my looks, just didn't give a fuck about anything. I've gone from like this normal, like half alright lad, play football, go to the gym and that, to then turning into a right fat bastard, eating takeaway after takeaway, sniffing gear in someone's kitchen, just having absolutely no respect for myself.
mm.
And when I was sober or hungover, I'd be like, I'm fucking disgusting. I am really disgusting, man.
Cold light of day self analysis.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
why can I smell chili sauce on my
yeah,
pillow?
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Oh, there's a kebab next to my
yeah,
face.
yeah. A bit of doner meat on my back that's stuck there.
Oh god, yeah. And then you just
It's
peel it off and like
it's
wrap it
probably
around a chip.
happened. It's probably happened. Then I probably ate it
Oh yeah, of course.
morning after.
What kind of shameful drunk alcoholic hanging in his bed wouldn't eat a slab of cold doner meat?
Yeah.
Call yourself a drunk.
No, it's a no-brainer.
It feels like we're about 20 minutes in, and it feels like yet again the solution to this problem is to stop drinking.
Interesting, isn't it?
It's weird, isn't it? I know it because it's it's not scientific. Well, it is scientific. That's why you feel the guilt and shame because of all the science, that pint after pint, all that science in there. It's wrecking your brain, quite literally wrecking your ability to think clearly, with clarity. You name it. Or even giving yourself the time to think properly. Because if you're hungover or drinking all the time, when have you actually got the time to have a clear head to think about what you
That,
need to action to get yourself better? That was a
mate.
big problem of mine. I never had the time to
No,
sit
same,
down, sit down and analyze myself and how shit my life was because I was too busy hiding from the fact that my life was shit.
mate. I can literally, I know exactly how your weeks used to be, and
Mm.
I've met you once because
Yeah.
it's the exact same as mine. It's
Yeah.
the exact same. It would be, you can't think logically when you're under the influence and 10 pints deep. You can't think logically. When you're hungover, you cannot think logically because you're thinking, how the fuck am I going to get through today? How am I going to do this? Blah blah blah. Because we drank so much, it took our whole thought process when we weren't drinking to make it through the next few days to get to Friday or Thursday and then go again. So we never ever thought about normal things.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Really is.
We would
If
talk
you're not,
bollocks about football maybe after 5 pints, but you're not thinking like about anything serious.
no. I
All
think
them problems are just building up in your head the whole time. That's why you burst when you become sober because
Mhm.
you've bottled so much away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Those first few months, it's just an emotional outpouring. It's like a waterfall. It just doesn't stop, does it? It's so hard, and that's when you've got to really knuckle down and plan and knuckle down and get through those first couple of months because it does
Yeah.
get better. What people are writing recently, when does this shame go away? Well, when you put the bottle down and
Yeah.
keep it locked away and never go back to it. But because the shame will come back.
Yeah, of course it will. Of course it will. I feel like you can have, like, I don't know, say you made a tit out of yourself and I don't know, say you got steaming and you fell over in the pub and everyone laughed. Things like that, yeah, you might wake up and have the fear a little bit and be like, oh my God, what have I fucking done? And then that sort of stuff will get put aside. But I feel like and forgotten about, the real shame is that you're lucky as fuck to be alive and you are wasting your life away. And you will be letting someone down, whether it's your mum, dad, brothers, sisters. They don't want to see you fucking your life up. So I feel like that's the biggest shame is that you're
Mm.
literally just a waste. I felt like a waste of a life. I don't know about you, but
Yeah. All of my 20s, I felt like pointless big flap of skin. And the thing I found hardest was that I hadn't fulfilled exactly what you're saying. I hadn't fulfilled the potential that I and my parents knew I had, and that they'd invested so much in to, like, financially and love wise and attention and assuring I joined groups and teams and clubs and became a good person.
yeah,
That I couldn't even sort my life out so they could look at me with some pride.
yeah, no,
And that was just a constant underlying feeling for at least a decade. And then underlying, constant. And then it would bubble up on a Sunday morning and bubble up on a Monday morning and like explode on a Monday every week. I was like, what does my mum think of me? You know? What a shit feeling to have.
horrendous, isn't it? It's
Oh,
horrendous. Do you feel like it's quite linked with anxiety then, really, isn't it?
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
so I feel like the more naturally anxious you are, the worse your shame's going to be
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
because you're overthinking, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Some people might do the worst shit in the world, just wake up and be like, I don't give a fuck.
And that is a sociopath or a psychopath.
Yeah,
So if you are constantly drinking to excess and you don't feel shame, maybe, maybe, maybe
shame.
you're a psychopath.
I really think the shame is a good thing. It shows that you're human, and you're recognizing what you're doing is not right, and you know that you're not living to your potential. So I really do think it's a good thing that you recognize that.
It is a good thing, I agree. However, why does somebody like me, an intelligent enough, well brought up, healthy enough young man, why does it take 10, 12, however many years of feeling that shame as an adult? Because I felt it. I remember I used to feel like that at university all the time when I was in my early 20s. Why does it take 10 years to stop? Why does it take all those years to keep putting yourself through that?
Because you're an addict.
Yeah. How much shame do you have to pile upon yourself and guilt and regret before you finally burst and go, right, I'm going to AA,
Yeah.
or I'm going to just not drink today? A lot,
And
obviously.
it takes years to realise what it's funny, isn't it? It takes years to realise what the problem is. Although it's so fucking obvious. What, you're hungover? Of course you are. You had 10 pints in that job. It's
Yeah.
and it can take years to recognise it. But again, once you've recognised it, you'll then be like, okay, cool. But then you'll carry on doing it until, like you said, it gets that fucking bad that you're like, right, this
Yeah.
is it. I feel like people could tell you for years and years and years that you've got a problem, you need help, you need help, you need help. But until you recognise that yourself, they're just wasting their breath.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Something you just said there that made me think of something. God, you're so right, man. I can't remember what I was going to say, but you know, if you are asking, it just seems so obvious, doesn't it? That's what you said about the kind of how you just can't see it, like you're blinded to
Yeah,
the reality and the truth. But I think,
yeah,
and certainly, I think I could have got sober quicker if I'd had things like this.
same.
Because we get a lot of messages. I get messages individually. I we get messages to the Sober Stretch podcast.
Oh, fair man.
We get messages and they say things like, "Oh, I'm so glad I found this podcast because it's just made me realize." Because we're just, I think because we're like, quote unquote, we're just two normal blokes talking about a period of our lives that we can now look at from above, like another person, and look back on it and think, oh, wow, my God, how did I not see that at the time? And I think it's really useful. I'm sure that's
Yeah,
why we get so many messages to this effect. Like, oh, we're almost like, we're like the penny droppers, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah,
People are
yeah,
going, oh, yeah, it's
yeah,
so obvious.
yeah.
I just couldn't see, I can't see it because I'm drinking, but these two have been sober for X long and they've seen it. But they didn't see it when they were in the throes of it.
No,
And I think we're the penny droppers. And I'd love to have had this. And because I could have gone, oh, I relate to that. Oh, I relate to that. Oh, that's why I feel that way.
it's just even having the courage to start watching it, isn't it? I really think.
Yeah, also, yeah.
I think I told you, or I've said before, but my mum knew that I was an alcoholic from an early age. She just recognised certain things that she saw in her dad because he was an alky,
Yeah.
and I just remember always saying she's boring, and if she carries on, she will turn me into an alcoholic. but
Playing
yeah,
game.
do you know what I mean? She recognised it early, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you mad? An
Hmm.
alcoholic? No. And then yeah, it took me fucking years, man, to fuck my life up a lot, but still, we still recognised early in comparison
Hmm.
to a lot of people. Like I said, when I did go to AA, I was easily one of the youngest there.
Hmm.
So I've got to be grateful for that. But hopefully, I mean, I know it has helped a lot of people already. But if it helps you sooner rather than later, it's just more years of your life, quality years of your life that you're going to have, which really is the end goal, isn't it?
Absolutely.
No one gets out alive. If you can have more better years than bad years, happy days.
That's a really nice way of putting it. Yeah. And the more sober years you rack up, the likelihood is that that will be the case.
And you're probably going to live longer.
and deal with your problems sober much better. You know, like, how long do you want our list to be? Two lads that thought it was cool as fuck to get smashed from Thursday till Monday morning, telling you drinking's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Again,
Again, no, we're not I think we've made it pretty clear. I'm not demonizing alcohol, and if you want to go and have 3 pints 3 times a week, crack on.
yeah, man. Fair
And
fucking
if
play.
you
I wish I
obviously,
would do.
hey,
I said I wish I was that person.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And if people are watching this going, "Oh God, you're demonizing alcohol," like, wrong podcast, dickhead. Fuck off, you know.
Yeah. Nah. Like I said, all my mates still drink. No one's gone. No one's sort of looked at me and been like, "Oh, I'm gonna go sober because Craig has," and I haven't been like, "Oh, I'm not gonna hang around with you because you drink and shit like that." And
Yeah,
it's not like that. It's not like a fucking cult. Far from it. Um, you're saying these things, and we're saying these things because we are passionate about helping people see the light who are struggling. If you're not struggling and you have a healthy relationship with alcohol, absolutely amazing. That's brilliant. But we do recognise that there are a lot of people that don't have a healthy relationship with it. It's ruining their lives, but they're scratching their head, one thinking, "Oh, I've just got bad anxiety," or "I've just got bad mental health." Try not drinking and see what happens.
I don't know how many posts I've seen on. I follow some groups on Facebook, sobriety groups, and I've only started following them really in the last 6 months to see, like, get a feel for the communities. You know, since we've started doing this, I never followed them before, and I don't know how many people write, "Oh, I've not had a drink for 20 days and I feel so much better." Yeah,
So cool though, isn't it? Because do you remember do you remember how proud you felt when you done a week of not drinking?
oh, dude, the actual week when it stuck, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Like the first week, I think is actually a better feeling than the first year because in a way because that first week is so fucking hard and you've made a start
Hmm.
and it will go quickly. But yeah, I'll get buzzing for anyone that's just starting, and when they recognise that is what was holding them back for so many years, and they realise that they can actually have a sick life, a good life, without drinking. That feeling's unreal because there's all them doubts where you think, will I even be the same person?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
scary.
Oh, that is one of the biggest issues people have. Will I be the same person?
Yeah,
Well, we should do an episode on reinvention. So, you know, like reinventing yourself. And we do talk about it a lot, but I think you're right. That first week, the pride, you're bursting with pride because you've done something
yeah,
so monumentally difficult. And then that is like the sober muscle, isn't it? You want more of that pride feeling. And I think people get sober when they want to be, they search for the feeling of self pride more than they do for the feeling of tipsiness. You know, because ultimately being tipsy off alcohol is about as good as it gets, isn't it?
yeah,
Because after that, it's kind of
yeah.
starts to go downhill, and you don't remember as much, or there's more drama, or you just feel rougher the next day.
Exactly,
So, like,
exactly.
what do you want? Do you want to? You end up just you attach more importance to the feeling of acquiring more pride than you do of getting tipsy for a few hours. But that lure and that, like, dangling of the carrot of being tipsy for a few hours is so powerful and so strong. But I think feeling good about yourself is better.
Of course it is.
But a lot of people don't. A lot don't think like that. I think.
Like,
I think
yeah,
they think it's more of a depressing idea to not have alcohol in your life when you first consider going sober.
oh, 100%. Yeah, it's fucking scary. Listen, that's why it took us so long
Yeah,
to recognise that it is a dark, scary thought. It's our DNA. It's our DNA. It's what everyone recognises us by.
yeah,
People still see me now and they're like, "What? You having a few beers?" I'm like, Nah, man, I've been sober for 2 years. I don't even really like talking about it because then they're like, "What the fuck?" and they make a big deal out of it. But the thought is so scary. You think, "Oh, I'm probably not going to be." I'm not saying I'm funny, by the way, but they'll be like, "I'm not going to be funny anymore. I'm not going to be able to have conversations with people." Blah blah. Trust me, it all comes back
And
and
better.
better. Yeah.
Also, it does. Where is the? What is the point in only feeling good under the influence? Where's the authenticity? You know, whatever you do or achieve or manage to do drunk, that isn't you. So
No,
it's like
exactly. Yeah.
it's an empty achievement, and
100%.
not that you achieve a lot drunk, but I don't know. Maybe you're an artist and you create something really great when you're drunk, and then you decide that at some point you have to get sober, and you're like, can I actually create this art as a sober person? And then I think you have to start distancing yourself from the idea that what you achieve while drinking is not even you.
No, 100%.
Because I used to, I sometimes taught under the influence. When I was still in Spain, I'd either be so pissed from the night before that my first classes sometimes I'd still be drunk, or I'd have a drink on the sly, and my classes were like electrifying. You know, when you teach English as a foreign language, it has to be dynamic and fun, otherwise people switch off. It's not like teaching, I don't know, talking about religious studies and you talk, you know, it's got to be. And I'd go into classes half cut, and then I'd think, oh, that class was amazing. Oh, can I actually replicate that though if I don't have a drink? And you
No,
start to think you need the drink to be that creative or,
that's
you
so
know,
true, man.
gregarious character or
That's
whatever.
so true.
So you're fucking cheating yourself out of
Yeah.
authentic experiences and
Yeah.
authentic achievements. And then again, that's why people don't quit, because they're like, I can only do this drunk.
Yeah. Putting yourself down as well, not believing in yourself because you feel like you need to put some poison in you to do better,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
fucking mad.
Fucking believe in yourself, man. When you get sober, you start to believe in your own skills and
Yeah.
your own
Yeah. That's
powers.
why it's another reason why I have a lot of sympathy for people that struggle to drink as well. Like people do dickhead things when they're drunk and stuff like that. I can forgive someone a lot easier now, I know, because someone could be the nicest fucking person, literally the coolest person, like sweet as a nut. As soon as they have 5 beers, they turn into an absolute wrong'un.
Yeah,
And but you have to look at it as two different people.
you do really. I agree with that. I mean, it doesn't mean that you start to let off murderers because they were drunk, obviously. But in
Yeah,
your normal day-to-day life, you have to you have to make some allowances for people's behaviour when they're drunk. But as it continues to play out, like, where do you draw the line? You know, when do you say, "Okay, I get it, you've had a drink, but like, I don't care anymore." You know, come on.
yeah, I know, mate. It's like you said, when the penny drops and you realise why you're feeling so fucking shit, so guilty, so worthless, ashamed of yourself, and you realise that it's all been down to your drinking habits, it's an absolute godsend.
Yeah, yeah, because I think your drinking habits and the drink cloud your logical brain. So you think that a lot of the guilt and the shame you're feeling in your life is associated to your life, but the likelihood is it's all to do with your drinking
Exactly that.
or drug taking, whatever your poison is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people say, maybe we'll finish on this. Oh, how do I get rid of the guilt and shame? Stop drinking.
Yeah. Not
What's your
brain.
secret? What's your secret? Stop drinking.
It's
Yeah,
not
but you must
fucking.
have done something really groundbreaking. No, just stop drinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not rocket science. I ain't gonna argue with that. It is straightforward.
It really is, man. It really is. Well, mate, let's leave it there, shall we? Because we didn't do our normal mention of Man United at the start of the podcast, so we'll do it at the end. We've got a football match to watch.
Worried. nervous. Probably feel a bit of shame after we get done 7-0.
Yeah, but it won't be our fault. It'll be great. We'll lose 7-0, and we'll be able to throw the shame and guilt on Bruno for like throwing his hands in the air because
Yeah.
someone didn't do something he wanted them to do.
No, exactly.
Yeah, we'll see how we get on. It could be interesting. Early days, anyway.
Exactly. Who knows? Who knows? But
So
interesting chat.
nice, yeah. Well, we'll have another one next week, guys and gals. We are at the Sober Stretch on Instagram. We are the Sober Stretch on the on YouTube and Spotify. Go and follow us and subscribe and give some love because we appreciate it, and we hope you've enjoyed our chat.
100%. Cool, man.
Where are you? Where are you? Let's do a shameless individual plug. Fuck it.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram at livewithoutlimits_coaching, and that is more exercise, ex-alcoholic type stuff. I was going to say type shit and play it down, but it's basically all about how I replaced my addiction with alcohol with exercise.
Yeah, nice one, man. I'm at SoberNSound, sober letter N sound on Instagram, and I talk about. I'm a motivational kind of fella. Look in the camera and tell you to get fucking sober. So yeah, good luck getting sober this week, guys, and or staying sober. Stay sober. Big beliefs. Peace.
Yeah, man. Quality.
Enjoy the
Sweet,
game.
man. Catch you, bro.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.